Dear students, now we are going to discuss about egg membranes. In the previous class, we have seen what is meant by an egg or a female sexual cell, what are the different classification of what is the peculiarity of egg, what about the classification of egg based upon the amount of yolk, distribution of yolk, and also the classification based on the presence or absence of shell. Now we are going to discuss about the different kinds of egg membranes. So let's see. Egg membranes are actually, these are the additional members which is surrounding by the, or which is surrounded by the plasma membrane. We all know that all the cells are generally having a membrane or cell boundary that restricts the movement of substance into the interior of the cytoplasm. So that protective layer is called the plasma membrane. In addition to this plasma membrane, or just above this plasma membrane, we can see another additional membrane that is called the egg membrane. According to the origin, there may be 1, 2, or 3 nature, different types of or different membranes. A number of membranes will be varying, and according to the origin or from which area they are generally derived, we are classifying these additional members or egg membranes into 3 different classes. That is called primary egg membrane, secondary egg membrane, and tertiary egg membrane. So let's move to the detail of each membrane. What does mean by primary egg membrane? Primary egg membranes are generally developed in the ovary. We know that the structural as well as the functional unit of ovary is called the Graafian follicles. So this primary egg membrane is secreted either by follicle cells or oocyte or the egg cell itself, and based upon the structure there are different types, which means the structure of this primary egg membranes are varying in different kinds of organisms. So the first one is called the vitelline membrane. This is a double-layered membrane just seen very close to plasma membrane, and this double layers are generally named as an outer fibrous and inner rough membrane. And this vitelline membrane is generally found in, or this additional membrane is generally found in insects, mollusks, birds, and amphibians. So in this type of organisms, we can say that the primary egg membrane is called the vitelline membrane. Then called zona radiata. In the case of bony fishes and oocyte of shark as well as reptiles, we can say that the primary egg membrane is called zona radiata. This is because they are generally having a striated appearance. And what is the peculiarity of this zona radiata is that during the further development, the zona radiata becomes a micropyle. It is a small opening through which the sperms are able to reaches into the egg. So this is another kind of egg membrane which is found in these kinds of organisms. Then zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is actually the primary egg membrane which is generally found in mammals. So this is actually a modified form of zona radiata but doesn't have any kind of striations. Then jelly envelope. This is a thicker layer which is made up of a non-living jelly coat. For example, most of the echinoderms or marine invertebrates generally having this primary egg membrane. So these are the classification generally based upon the structural differences in the primary egg membrane. So here you can see that this is the structure of an mammalian ovum. Here you can see that this is the plasma membrane and this is the zona pellucida layer. That is, this is the primary egg membrane in mammal. Then we need to discuss about another egg membrane that is called a secondary egg membrane. Secondary egg membranes are generally secreted by the follicle cells, and here the secondary egg membranes are generally known as chorion. That is the chitinous shell which is surrounding the egg. For example, in the case of insects, crustaceans, and cyclostomes, we can say that the chorion is actually the chitinous shell which is secreted by the follicle cells. You may be knowing that in the case of cockroaches also a small capsule is there inside which the eggs are generally sealed. So this is called a secondary egg membrane which is secreted by the follicle cells itself. And in the case of mammals, we can say that the secondary egg membrane is called the corona radiata. Here you can see that this is an insect egg structure. Here, this is the vitelline membrane. That is, this is the primary egg membrane, and this is the secondary egg membrane. That is chorion. Here you can see the yolk and the cytoplasm, all these things. Okay, and this is the structure, which is generally structure of the ovum that we have just mentioned. Here you can see that this is actually the zona pellucida layer, and this is actually the plasma membrane. This is the zona pellucida, and this is the secondary membrane that is called the corona radiata. Okay, so this is the secondary membrane which is found in mammals, and this is the secondary membrane that is called chorion in insects. Then comes the last membrane, that is called tertiary egg membranes. This is generally secreted by either the oviduct or other accessory parts of the maternal genital organs. So tertiary egg membranes are generally secreted by the oviduct, which is altogether absent in most of the mammals except the Prototheria. Prototheria, we know that these are the primitive mammals. So except this Prototheria, these primary egg membranes are generally the egg membranes are altogether absent. So you can see this tertiary egg membrane mainly in the mammals. If you are considering the mammals, you can see this tertiary egg membrane mainly in the Prototherians. And this tertiary egg membranes generally includes albumin, jellicoat, and the calcareous shell, etc. In the case of albumin, you can see that these are generally produced by the shell glands of the oviduct. For example, in the case of shark and rays, their shell glands, which is present in the oviduct, will produce the albumin. This is the tertiary egg membrane. In the case of amphibians, you may be knowing that a jelly substance will be coating over the egg. So this jelly coat, we can say that this jelly coat generally provides the protection to the developing egg. So this is generally produced by the amphibian oviduct, female oviduct of amphibians. Then in the case of reptiles as well as the birds, you may be knowing that the calcareous shell, this white colored shell, this is produced by this oviduct. So those membranes which is generally produced by the oviduct, we can say that these are tertiary egg membranes. Here you can see that this is the jelly coat. Okay, this is the jelly coat in which the embryo is generally developing. This transparent one is called the jelly coat. And in the case of hen's egg, you can see that the white or this pink colored one is actually the shell. This is produced by the shell glands which is present in the oviduct. I hope you understood. If you have any doubt, please do in the comment section. Thank you.